Here we go again. So this is episode 38. This is my very dear friend and the woman who actually is part of the glue together, Miss Charlene Wingfield. Wow, I didn't have enough coffee this morning. Char, how are you doing today?
I'm doing great today.
You know why I know that?
Why?
Well, I haven't spent any money yet today.
That's true. That is exactly true. It's always a good day when I don't get a sneak attack in Slack telling me for everybody, that you're spending money.
There's always a purpose behind the lesson. There's always a purpose. So to the folks out there in the audience, episode 38, I honestly never thought we'd get here. When I started this, I didn't know if we'd get past 3 or 5, and now here we are. And obviously we just came off of Thanksgiving. Obviously a lot to be grateful for, a lot to be thankful for. And that's really at the core of why we do this, or why I do this, is to keep myself in this season of gratitude and being thankful, is to keep myself grounded. And honestly, it's one of those things where I think you'll laugh at this because you've known me long enough now. It's going on like, I don't even know, 10 years, probably feels like 50 years to you. But every time I think I've done all the homages I can do, I sort of sit and meditate for 5 minutes, and I close my eyes and I think, like, who am I grateful for? That's really, yeah, come on. And I'm like, who am I grateful for? It could be right now, or like if I'm going through a difficult season, it's like, who was there for me 3 months ago, or whatever it could be. So Charlene, I'm going to frame this out the best way I possibly can, because I'd probably talk for 4 hours. Charlene and I have been through thick and thin. She's like the older sister I never had. And I will always be eternally grateful because of the experiences we've been through, the levity she brings to a lot of situations where we play off each other really well. Charlene's the consummate assassin. People don't know this about Charlene, but she is a sniper in waiting. So Charlene is very, with her financial background, Charlene is very calculated. She has a great understanding of, which, if we go back to the beginning when we started at DSM, Charlene took Argentina out of a debt crisis, and she wanted to present that to me on her interview saying, I did this. And I'm like, you're good for the job. Like, you got the job already. If you want to do the interview, we'll go through a mock interview here. Welcome to the show. Thank you for all that you've done. Thank you for all that you do. And I'm assuming thank you for all the things that we will continue to do together to grow this company and do it in a way that's responsible. And so thank you for being you. Welcome to the show today. Where I'm going to start is way back. I'm going to go like Chunk in the Goonies type stuff, like going back to like high school. And like, Charlene's maiden name is Mulfinger. Samantha and I graduated with her brother John, parked in their driveway in high school. Like, we're going back to the 3rd grade now. But given where you are and the background that you have between sports and finance, like, why has this worked for the last 7 years? Like, why do you think this works? Because we're two very different people.
Yeah. Why
do you think it works? What drew you here, and why do you think it works? And by the way, a shout out to Char's husband, Andy, my high school football coach, who's the best, who's the one who actually told me that Charlene was going to work here because Sarah went to kindergarten and she needed to get out of the house. So That's how the journey starts.
Oh, I think it works because me, you, and Zinka have such a great relationship, and you're exactly right. We are three completely different people, but we respect each other's strengths, and we just get along really well, and we make solid decisions together. Yeah.
Okay, but why? That's great, but what's the why? Why do you love what you do? Why? Because there are days, let's be honest, that like I could cause you to pull your hair out. Why do you love what you do? Why do you love this place? Like, what in your previous life is most applicable to help you to do what you're doing here? Because the journey of the last 5 years certainly easy. But why is that so important to you, I guess? Why has that been like Charlene's as much of the fabric of DSM as I am? And so why is that the case?
I don't know. I mean, you got to remember when I first came for the interview, I'm not an accountant by trade. I like doing math and everything like that. So I learned how to do QuickBooks. I didn't even know how to do QuickBooks back then. So I learned all of that. I learned the business. I wasn't familiar with the advertising agency. So like I had a pretty steep learning curve. And then I don't know, once I got, a hold of the lingo and what was going on, I love it. I love the autonomy. I know it's crazy, but like I'm part of the group, but also my job is by myself, right? I'm the one that runs the books and does all that stuff. No one else does all that. So I like having, and I love the fact that, numbers make sense to me, right? So it's always, so I can balance the books, and I want to make us profitable. And so and then it's good too, because like I'm on your little shoulder. I know I am saying, don't buy because, and then when we can buy, I let you buy. So like, it's good. We have a good rapport. You've come full circle with this.
I've come full circle with this. I liken it to having 3 wives. I have 2 work wives and Samantha at home. It's truly been a blessing. It's one of the things that, to me, the reason why DSM has become what it's become today. Yes, the financial part of it's important, and like great stories back, like when Charlene first started, was when Tessa was born, and I was doing like 8 hours on a Saturday of billing, and Samantha was like, dude, you're not leaving me in the house with 3 kids under the age of 5, so you better figure this out. And like, I joke because a lot of kids with DSM are serendipitous. Like, it's the best way to explain it. It's the only way to explain it. And so Charlene came into my life when, from a nuts and bolts standpoint, we were growing, and we needed somebody who was better than I was at doing the books, which our accountant Mitch will tell you, like the first year Char did it, he's like, do never touch the books again. Like, this is the easiest thing we've ever done, when Charlene finally took it over. But to be able to share in the experience of all the things that have happened over the last 7 or 8 years with kids, with, like, we joke about being an enclave for New York City expats. Like, Charlene in another life was making buku bucks, like working at JP Morgan or Morgan Stanley or whatever Morgan you were working at. Like, it like, there's a conscious decision of bringing work and family together. And I know there's a lot of people out there that don't believe it, that you can do it, but to be able to have, like, Charlene lives in the same town as we do, her and Andy and their family. There's been so many experiences now that have happened with kids, with football, with sports, with things that are happening now with Charlie, like sharing state championships, and AJ, like, and Matt and Sarah. Like, it's the point of this company And I think my relationship with Charlene embodies this, is really like having that work family balance. And there's a lot of overlapping parts that allow for not only somebody coming in and feeling good about the work that they do, but also feeling good about the relationships that they have. Like it's so important. And I that's one of the biggest values that I think for me that you brought to the table. Yes, you're a wonderful CFO. Like, it's great. Like, there's dozens of other CFOs out there that like could have done the job, you know, maybe not as well or maybe better, whatever. But the fact that we've gotten to share experiences together, not only outside, like inside of work, going through difficult times, having good times, like sharing the wins and the losses, but literally the wins and the losses out of the office too. And I think that that's something, at least for me, like, you've known me long enough now, it's like what I preach all the time. But like that, if DSM goes on forever, great. If DSM doesn't go on forever, great. That's what I'm going to take with me. It's not going to be the fact that you're like an amazing bookkeeper or that you figured out QuickBooks. Like, our families are like, for like going forward. And that's the most amazing part to me. That's what I'm going to value the most. So a little known fact is there's probably people on here. I know this because I went to Ramapo High School and Charlene's plaque is everywhere. She's probably the most decorated female athlete in Ramapo history. Tell everybody a little about like the back, like because I think there's a big part of being the athlete that really drew you into this, and that like competition and that growth over the years. Like, a big part of, I think, what makes you, me, and Zinka tick so well together is the fact that we're all competitive by nature. How do you think that has played? Like, how do you think being an athlete's played into the journey with what you've done, not just at DSM, but over the course of your career? I think it's an important lesson, not only for the audience in general, but I think for into like for their why. Like, you're a great example of the why, like why I do this, why I keep competing, why I keep doing what I do, why I want to be better. And I think that it's an important and valuable lesson for maybe some of the young females who might be listening today. Like, how did being a soccer and basketball player at Rampo, and then going to play soccer at Duke, and then, like, even though Duke sucks, I said that out loud, I apologize. How did that play?
You didn't hire me.
What?
You almost didn't hire me because of that.
I know, being a Villanova fan, but you know, like, we beat you on our way to the national championship, so it's all good. It's all good. How did that play into like your early career at JP Morgan? How did that competitive nature, how does it still drive you today?
Well, it's kind of funny you say that because, you know, as does everybody with whatever particular part of their job is, I'm sure it keeps them up at night. And so mine is always like crunching numbers, even in my head. Like, I'll be up at 2:00 in the morning and I'll be like, oh, I need to do this, whatever. I honestly, the whole money aspect is a game to me. It's a game. And I want DSM to win. And so, like, I'm always like, I have to beat the numbers, right? I have to make it as profitable as I can. And literally I treat it like a game, and I want to win.
I can say this, not the actual example, but Charlene is all about winning. Charlene is all about winning. Going back a little bit back to 2019 and how there were a lot of sleepless nights. There were, there was a lot of sleepless nights. One of the things, this has nothing to do with work, but one of the things that I most value about our relationship is that you care so much, and that these things, you know, as I've grown as sort of a CEO or whatever, as I've grown as the person who has to lead the company, there's something to be said for when I was younger, I never understood why people weren't as passionate about DSM as I was. And as I've, you know, as I've matured, you understand it. Like, people don't own the company. Like,
Right.
I own the company. That being said, I'm not sure there's a person at DSM who embodies giving a shit more about the company than me, because there are days where I'm totally in the dump that you or Zinka like lift the mantle and carry the torch for that day or that few days, where it's like, you know, everybody has their own responsibilities, but the amount of care, the amount of passion, the amount of like the things that keep you up at night. And I think this is another thing about the three of us that really like works. The numbers don't keep me up at night. The numbers keep me up at night because they have to, but they don't keep me up at night.
Right.
Like, it's the selling part of it that keeps me up. Or,
Right.
you know, and think with like operations, like how does this fit into it? Like, we kind of all have our own puzzle, so to speak.
Exactly.
But driving the what you've done over the past 5 years, this is what I was joking with Charlene for all of the listeners out there. Charlene's like, do I have to prepare anything? Like, no, just be able to accept gratitude. Like, that's all you need to do today. There's not a human being that means more to this place and where we've come from 2019 to where we sit today at the end of 2023, with all the ups and downs, like, you know, banner years, not banner years. There's not a person that means more to this place and its success than you. And I want you to know that, because what you do, it's foreign to me. It's not easy. Like, I'm the worst person in math you'll ever meet. I don't get your passion, but it's so important to the success of any company. And there's not one individual here that over the last 18 years has meant more to this place than you have. And I want you to know that.
Thank you.
This place would definitively not be where it is. The folks here, we wouldn't have been able to retain the talent that we have. We would not have been able to be as profitable as we have. We would not be able to have the luxuries that we do. Part of this company is about having the luxuries of being able to be with your family and to take care of your family as much as you're taking care of your business. And so I want you to know that, because without you, this place isn't what it is today. So thank you from the bottom of my heart.
Well, you're welcome. And it goes right back at you. I mean, you come from the city and you're a number, right? There's a zillion people that work at JP Morgan and all these big banks or wherever you're coming from, and you're a number. But I feel like ours, when I came to DSM and, so slowly became part of the culture and everything like that, you realize that, like, I mean, you above anybody that I know has the biggest heart. I mean, you help out anybody and everybody that you can, and you're the most loyal person I know. Whether, right, we'll stay at DSM forever or whatever happens, but I know even when it ends, you will always be my friend and you will always have my back. And that's what makes it so special at DSM, because it's about the friendships that we've made. And we've done a really good job with the company, but also with our, like you said, like our families, and being together and making something really good. And we respect each other and we listen to each other and we come up with good solutions, I think, So I think the difference between coming from the city and being a number to being part of a 15 to 20 person company where you're truly valued is huge. It's huge.
Well, I agree with you, hence why I started doing this, but there's not everybody. This is not for everybody, you know, so you have to respect that. You have to, there's people who have different priorities and things like that. But in starting this, you know, again, getting back to how the relationship started with you was literally me bringing a, you know, concussion test to Andy when I was coaching in Wyckoff. Like,
Right.
think about the serendipity in that. It really literally had nothing to do other than me coaching, you know, preparing for a season and having to do what I always did and asking a question to your
Yeah.
husband at the right time, like the right time, the right person. And ultimately what it's been is the right outcome. Um, for you, last question, because I
Okay.
know, so for you in this journey, what has been the most remarkable? What has been the most, um, what has been the most awesome thing that you feel will come out of this when we're sitting, you know, when we're sitting on the front porch in 30 years in diapers, you know, with no teeth, like the 8 years that you've been at DSM right now, like what for you has been the most poignant thing that's happened outside of work? Like what will this place leave you? Like what's the most indelible thing that you've been able to take from your experiences? Because I'm not sure Charlene thought at her age right now she'd be sitting here running a, you know, a 15-person marketing firm out of her, you know, out of her kitchen. But like what will the experience leave you with?
Well, two things. One, like we said, the friendships, hands down, the friendships that we've made with everybody in the office, especially me, you, and Zinka. I mean, just it's great. But two, I mean, like you said, like I really didn't like coming from JP Morgan. Then I had a couple kids, whatever, stayed home for a couple of years, and then, you know, you want to get back into it, and then how my role has slowly changed within the company to be working so closely with you. I'm proud of the fact that like this is where I am and that that I'm part of running this company, and it makes me feel really good. It makes me feel needed and that my opinion is valued, and that's and it helps every, you know, it helps your self-esteem. It makes you, I don't know, it helps in everyday life, right? Because you're doing good things. You're doing good things and you're making and like listen, you have a payroll of 15, 16 people. You're providing for a lot of families, and you know, that's the kind of stuff I think about, and I think that that's a great thing to be part of.
You almost made me cry. Not gonna
Almost.
cry. Yeah, no, I actually had to switch gears in my head to a Whopper with cheese, and then I didn't think about crying anymore. So you almost made me cry. It's like the Jerry Maguire thing. Rod Tidwell, not doing it. Not doing it. Well, again, I hope this wasn't too, you know, out of your comfort zone. Like I said, all you needed to do is accept gratitude. Um, I want you to know that I am so thankful for you. I'm so thankful to your family, um, to the things that you. Now I'm gonna cry. I this place couldn't this place can't be where it's at without you, and like I want you to know that, and I want you to know that without you here and the things that you do and the things that, more importantly, yes, the things that you do, but the things that you mean to people here, and you are just so valued.
Thank you.
And I want you to know that, because a lot of the work that Charlene does goes kind of not unnoticed, but it's to the point of autonomy. Charlene's not involved in the everyday workings of the marketing. So a lot of times it's just Charlene, like making sure things are run. It's all important, but it's making sure that people get paid and like we have we're being profitable and all these things. You mean the world to me, and I would be remiss if I didn't say it, because I don't think it's said enough, and that's my fault. But in this season of gratitude, I want to make sure that you know it, that you know it's coming from the bottom of my heart. And I'm so thankful for you and what you mean to this place, because without it, I'm not sure we'd exist. So I hope that was easy enough for you. Episode 38 is in the books. Charlene Wingfield, this homage is for you. I'll give you the last word.
No, thank you. Thank you for hiring me and giving me the opportunity and letting me be part of this. It's amazing. It's amazing.
It took Argentina out of a debt crisis. I would have been the biggest idiot in the world if I didn't hire you that day back in 2015 or whenever it was.
It's been great.
Well,
and we have so many more great things to happen. We're gonna do great things.
I am your lips to God's ears.
That's right.
I am wow. I didn't think I was gonna get this emotional. I'm all emotional. Thank you. This homage is yours. Wrapping it up, Kathleen, I'll get this off to you in a few minutes. And Charlene, thank you for being you. Love you to death and just appreciate you so much.
Thank you, Darren. Thank you for this. That was really, really nice. Thank you.